Hello, welcome to Omera, and my name is Olamide Alao-Akala, and I'm the founder of Omera Farms, where we empower people through agricultural services. Hello guys, are we ready? Huh? Mr. Bill, can you run us through our last meeting? Down here, and I want us to kind of use this lingua, the storytelling that we want to use for UBS. In these 7 steps, I want you to put it into ChatGPT and try and refine it. And please, don't give vague prompts. So we have a business school. I'm sure you know about that. So Omera Farms, what we do is we empower people through agriculture, and we use aggregation as a form of building in the agricultural space. So, but what we do more intentionally is teach people how to build businesses, how to scale businesses. We empower them on how to transform, we build them to transform their minds. And we have the Omera Business School. We also run a conference we do once a year. It's called Omera Boosts. It's the Made for More conference. I mean, the old tagline for Omera Business School is Made for More. You are made for more. So I just find a way of making time. I mean, it's by building structures. It's not just about finding time, it's about building structures and systems for each. So most of the people you see here, none of them have any business with what is going on the farm. So I'm here in Ibadan, the Ibadan office for just 1 day this week. And you joined us, we had our meeting. Just what we're doing was trying to run a strategy for 2026. So once I'm done here, I'm back to Gomosho. So they're separate teams. Yes, separate teams, yes. So we have the IT for this is the IT, our IT person for Omera Business School, and we have the IT person for Omera Farms, and we have the IT person for Alafia Village. So we have 3 different things that we do.
So Alafia Village is a separate.
So Alafia Village is on the farm.
Okay.
Alafia Village is the agro-tourist aspect of the business. And you know, I mean, every vision is progressive. So we've been farming, we're like, okay, what can we do next? We have this large expanse of land, we can receive people, we can receive guests. You know, I've had this vision in my head where people are getting married on a farm. And it's in a glass tent or a mirror tent, you know, and they can see goats, you know, goats walking around while you're walking down the aisle, you know. I mean, the other day I was telling my team, what if the goat can actually carry the ring and be the ring bearer? But, you know, I mean, that's far-fetched, but I mean, we're trying to build something different on the farm, you know. So it's not just about farming. People can come and see other things. They can go, you know, where this idea came from? I took my kids to the farm and they wouldn't stop running around with the goats, running around with the cattle. And I've always had that idea of having a destination wedding center for Nigerians who actually want to get married in Nigeria, but not in Nigeria. I don't know if you know what I mean. You know, and I was thinking, oh, we could do it in Abeokuta, it's closer to Lagos. But then, my friend got married. I went and drove all the way from Lagos to Abuja to go and do honeymoon in a farm. And I'm like, what? If you can drive all the way to Abuja, why can't they drive all the way to Gomosho? So we're doing it. It's not trending because in our country, a lot of people are looking for quick fixes. Quick microwave results. You put it in the microwave, 5 minutes is out. And I mean, we kind of try to tilt towards cash crop, which is less risky. Because once you've planted, you've planted. But then, it's also not so attractive. Why do I say this? I'll give you a real life example. So what we do for people is Aside from the fact that we have our own farming, we also invite people to come and farm with us. Like I said, alone we can do solely too. Together we can do so much. So we bring people on board and they farm with us. We farm for them. They buy the land and we farm for them. And we told them, look, if you're doing cashew, in the 4th year, which is the first year of your produce, when the cashew starts to yield, you might get at least up to 450 kg of nuts. And if it's going for maybe $2 in the market at the time, we can get about $900 for that. But then you know what happened? We didn't get 450 kg. We didn't even get 100 kg. So you see, I mean, and then we're wondering what's going on. How do we go back to tell these people that they are managing their farms that we didn't even get up to 100 kg on this? And then we started investigating, we realized that the climate change is also affecting us where we are. And so how do you go and tell people that it's climate change? You know what, we just have to communicate with them. And it got to a point, I said, look, if people start calling us, because this is not what we can't help it. We have planted the trees. You can come to your farm and see that we have planted the trees for you. So, and then, just so you know, in agriculture, when you plant 40, it doesn't mean that the next day you see 40. If you plant 40 trees. So, mind you, the following year we had to do some replanting on some people's farms. So, people just, oh no, how can you say you don't get up to 100 kg? I've been reading it online. This is what you do. You know what I just said? I said, look, we are just managing your farm. If you think we are cheating you, please, by all means, come to the farm. The harvest is during the season for cashew is between January ending to April. Come to the farm. Come and see for yourself. If possible, mount cameras there on your farm so you can see what's going on. So I understand what you're saying when you say people are shying away from agriculture. It is. But you see, at the end of the day, it might take a while for those cashew to pick. They will pick. And once they do, you're smiling to the bank. Mind you, Presco, do you know they're taking to the bank? Okumu, do you know they're taking to the bank? Actually, I think Presco is actually selling shares. They sold shares this year. People bought shares and people cashed out. So agriculture, if you know what you're doing, if you do a whole lot of research and don't just jump into it because you see people doing it and say you want to copy. I mean, take your time, research. Not everyone has been called to be an entrepreneur. I know we see all of these things online saying, oh, if you're not an entrepreneur, you can never be rich, you can never be wealthy. It's a lie. It's a lie. You just have to be self-aware. Know who you are as a person and what works for you. The other day I saved a reel on Instagram. In fact, I downloaded it. I'm going to play it in a class. This lady was just saying the amount of freedom she now experiences from dropping her small business and going back into the workspace. Now, some people just want to go and work somewhere and go back home. It's not everybody has been made. See, as an entrepreneur, you are the soul and the art of the business. You are doing times 100 of the work. People don't realize that you are the brain, you are thinking, you are doing all of that. Some people cannot afford to think beyond a scope. So why take them out of it? Know who you are. And be authentic, be true to yourself. Because when you're not true to yourself, you say, and you're chasing money. You're not true to yourself. You're not in a place of clarity. And you just say, okay, because this person is making money selling bags, I also want to sell bags. You can be there selling bags and not sell 3 bags in a month. And this person is cashing out, selling 500, 1,000 bags. She can, I mean, there's this lady on Instagram, I mean, fine, funky. You can check her out. I love her. This girl just sold 8 containers of, she did not even go to China with the money. She sold 8 containers right there in China by just telling people that this bag, if you want to buy, I will deliver it so. And she's been doing that back to back for years. She's been very consistent. How many people can go through? And I'm sure there are some things that have gone on behind the scenes for her too, and people do not know. So if you know what works for you, by all means, work there and then go and train yourself how to be wealthy. I have seen entrepreneurs who make money and are not wealthy. Because at the end of the day, it is what you do with the money. There are people who are working, okay, people who are working for for who are CEOs of maybe Pepsi, the CEO of the MD of Fidelity Bank, MD of so bank. Are you telling me that they are poor? The other day, the MD of Fidelity Bank invested in Fidelity Bank. Please think. Is she an entrepreneur or is she a career person? She's a career person, but she understands that the minute she drops that pen, the minute she retires, if she doesn't do something with that money, and then I read on the news, she bought a huge amount of shares in Fidelity Bank. So we need to think differently. It's not making money, being wealthy is not about being an entrepreneur. It's about doing it's about what you do with what you earn. See, community building. I rather build my community for people, different reasons. My reason might not be the same with someone else. National development. I'm into that. So sometimes the way we grow up informs some of the decisions that we make and the things that we do. So the kind of family that I grew up in is not a family that lives for itself. It's a family that lives for the community. I tried it. Because at the point I was like, oh, I need to take my kids out of this country. They're American citizens. I need to go and live in America. I mean, not that it was intentional. I was going through a phase then. But then I was there, but it didn't really gel with me. Now, is it wrong to relocate to America? No. Is it wrong to relocate out of Nigeria? No. We have people who are not Nigerians that are living in Nigeria and making money in Nigeria. The owner of Indomie is not from Nigeria. The owner of Golden Penny is not from Nigeria. The owner of maybe, I think, there's so many companies, don't let me start naming, but there's so many companies that are in Nigeria that are not owned by Nigerians. They left their countries to come here. So we live in one big global village where people can decide, oh, I want to move here. You have to move for the right reasons. Don't just move because of economic hardship. Economic hardship is everywhere. You can be living, if you're living in Nigeria and you cannot see the problems in this country and try to solve them and create a solution for those problems, and you go to America, you still will not see the problems in the American community. What you will end up doing is working for the system. Or if you're in the UK, you will work for the system. And you will be, I don't want to say that, but you will be in that system, working for it, getting money from the system. And, by the end of the month, you'll be complaining and saying, this is all I have left. After you have paid this bill, paid this bill, paid this bill, paid that bill, paid that. Meanwhile, why can't you be here and solve our problems for us? And I even like it when you go over there, come back and use what you have learned to help us as a nation. Forget that you say, oh, we have this leader, we have that leader. Don't focus on the leaders. Are you not a leader yourself? You're a leader yourself. And until you see yourself as a leader, you can't create any meaningful change. That's just what it is. From the onset, when you start a business, from the onset, you have, this is my destination, this is my vision, this is where I'm going to. So where you're going to is what's going to determine the process. It's going to determine the steps that you make, and it's going to determine your positioning. Positioning is very key. So you can't say you want to go to Lagos and face is saying it's not possible. There are two different locations, two different routes. So you're going to Lagos, you want to be focused on that journey. And along the way, you would see the opportunities that would help you to get into those spaces. So before we started Omera, because I had worked on the family farm, and I see how they export the cashew I already knew that we're going to go into into exportation along the line. So we started making steps, taking steps to make sure that you cannot want to do exportation and be registering a small business. Is a business name, it's called, or sole proprietorship. No, you can't do that. That's in fact like the foundation level. And then it got to a point, said, okay, we're getting to a point where we need to register with the Exportation Council. And I mean, you just have to position yourself in the right places. Go for the right trainings. There are some government-driven programs that you also need to attend to be able to spotlight you in things like this. I'm not just a speaker who speaks about, who teaches business, but I'm a speaker in a thought leader in the agri space. So because of this positioning, towards the goal, they will bring you into conferences, into summits that have to do with agriculture. This will also put you in spaces where you are meeting people who are doing what you want to do. So the last African Cashew conference that took place in Cotonou, I was there to speak up for women and the youths. Now, speaking at that conference was a huge milestone. Why do I say this? As soon as I got off the stage, a lot of buyers, a lot of exporters, buyers and sellers were coming to meet me, and I was forging relationships. So, I mean, not one way, there's no one way, but positioning is key. You just have to position yourself in the industry in which you want to become a thought leader, and that would help you to get to where you want to get to. I get you completely. I get this question a lot. Unfair advantage. A lot of people will sit down in their corner, listening to me speak, or scrolling through my Instagram page and saying, oh, she's the daughter of the former governor of your state. She has opportunities. It will be easy for her. And I tell people, your background, where you come from, doesn't determine your future. It determines it in some way, but it doesn't mean that you cannot change your story. I have seen people come from nothing and become somebody. And I would tell you that if my father was not the ex-governor of Oyo State, I'd probably be in a better place than I am today. Yes. Because I feel like I wasted a lot of time being comfortable and taking riskier decisions. I would have been far off from where I am today. I'm telling you this for free. Now, I have also seen people who come from a lot of wealth and still amount to nothing. At the end of the day, it's what's on the inside of you. It's what pushes you, what drives you, what propels you that makes you become somebody in life. Now, a friend of mine was asking me something similar to this question. Now, let me tell you, does it bother you when people say, oh, she's the governor's daughter, I mean, she's the ex-governor's daughter, so that's why she found it easy? Okay, no problem. You know what I told him? I said, it doesn't bother me at all. Because you can sit down in that little corner space of yours and be making excuses of why you should not become somebody in life. At the Made for More conference, the last Made for More conference that held earlier this month, I invited Alao-Akala. And for some reason, something in I was just telling me, invite him. And I'm like, it's not a, I don't understand, it's not a musical conference, it's not this conference we're trying to inspire people. But that thing kept nudging in my heart, inviting Alao-Akala. But I don't want people to come and sing. That's okay. If I go on Instagram and if he pops up, he's the first person that pops up, I will invite him. So I went on Instagram. Old and behold, I didn't understand. He was the first person that popped up. Like, God, why do I don't know if it's God, but it's God. Why do you want me to invite Alao-Akala? So I said, okay, I went to Google him. I have his phone number on my phone. Oh. I talk to him sometimes. So I went to Google him and I Googled and I saw his story. And the thing inside me was telling me, you see, speaking was music, I was telling, So when I have things like this that happen to me, there's somebody I call. So I called him. He said, pick up your phone now and pick your second phone now and call him. So I called him. And he said, oh, I'll be there. I have a program that day. I told him I just want to come and speak. I want to come and inspire the youth. I want to come and tell us your story from how you moved from nothing to where you are today. And he said, oh, I'll be there. Because I have to sing that, I have to perform at a wedding. I don't know if it was a wedding or a program that day, but I will come down to Ibadan, speak, and then go back. And when Alao-Akala just spoke of how he came from Ogbomoso, my hometown, I'm very proud of that. And how he got the idea to put a phone right in front of him and be doing birthday shout-outs. And he went from somebody who was charging 50,000 naira? Or was it 25,000 naira? From charging that for birthday shout-outs. And my friend who was watching online called me after the program and said, Olamide, I paid 50,000 to Alao-Akala for birthday shout-outs. So now can you call Alao-Akala for 50,000 naira shout-outs? If you see him on the road, will you see Alao-Akala on the road? So look, you can sit down in the corner of your room, the corner of your house, the corner of a conference, hear me speak, hear me talk, and say, oh, she's the daughter of somebody, and that is why she's where she is. That is your cup of tea. As far as I'm concerned, every single human being has been given an unfair advantage. Recognize yours and work with it. Recognize, these fingers might not be equal. They might not be, but you need every single one of them to survive. You need every single one of them. One cannot do without the other. A man who has 4 fingers can tell you what he goes through. A man who has only 3 fingers will tell you what he goes through. Some were given 3, some were given 2, some were given 1. What are you doing with the one that you have and focusing on the one that has 3? Your cup of tea. Document everything. Document everything. Never go into an agreement without documenting it, without if you're doing a partnership with someone, make sure you have it endorsed by a lawyer. Don't say, he's my friend, he's my brother. Get your documents in order. Don't just trust people blindly. I've had my fair share of that. Oh, I trust that they will do this. And then there's nothing wrong in going into fine details of what the agreement should be all about. If you're expecting A, B, C, D, E, F from a contract, itemize the A, B, C, D, E, F. Don't just use word of mouth to do it. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned. Because people will tell you they will deliver on A, B, C, D, E, F, and they will just deliver to you X, Y, Z. So I think that's the biggest lesson. Okay. So for agriculture, if you want to get financed for agriculture, there's something, you have to be loan ready. You have to be loan ready because paying back has been a pain for most people in the agribusiness space. Because I'll tell you, agribusiness is a place where the unexpected happens. And the story you told about the guy who said he worked in a farm before and bought 50 pigs, he wants to have 50 pigs. I think 50 pigs is a lot to start with because he might not know how to manage even 5 pigs and he wants to start with 50. That's too big. I'll tell you a story about a rich man, a very rich man who saw the way people were making money from eggs, from layers. So he said he wanted to have a poultry farm too. And he consulted with people who were in the field and they told him start with 5,000, sir. He said, oh, I want to build 2 pens of 20,000 capacity each. That's 40,000 beds because he had done the maths. So what most people do in agriculture is they press the calculator and they come to a conclusion that for me to make reasonable amount of money, I will need to start at this. This should be my starting point so that I can scale up to, okay. They tried to convince him. He said, no, start with 40,000 beds. So this man built these 2 beautiful pens and stocked it up with 20,000 birds each. And I think at the 18th week, and mind you, these birds, they eat a lot. And when I tell people, I say they eat money, not food. They eat money. So at the 18th week thereabout, when we were about to start, laying, there was a bird flu. And almost 30-something thousand birds died. They started dying gradually, from 1,000 a day to 2,000, then 3,000, then 5,000. And then they had to say, okay, you know what is left of it? Can we just kill and just eat it or whatever? Everything died. Before you know what's happening, the whole 40,000 birds died. And the guy said, I would never invest in agriculture again. Now we've heard stories of people, if you are started with 5,000 and you lost 5,000 birds, you know you would have learned a lesson. The money that was remaining for the remaining 35,000, you invest another 5,000 again. Learn the ropes. The guy who wants to start a pig farm should start small. You want to go into crop production, you want to do, what's it called? Greenhouse. Start with one greenhouse. You don't have to impress people that you have money, you can start 20 greenhouses at a time. To reduce the risk further, start it as a cooperative. Join hands with other people. I think agricultural cooperative is underestimated, undervalued. And it is one of the strategies that can actually help the agribusiness sector in Nigeria to grow further. So anybody who wants to get into agriculture, start small. Learn the ropes. Learn the mistakes, the gains, the wins, and then along the line, you can tweak whatever it is and do better. In fact, we need to turn this into a prayer point. I tell people, what you chase is what you will find. You have to check the acts and the intention of the people who are also looking for quick fixes. It's because they also want to live that life of, I am here, I have arrived. And that is why they are chasing after the wrong things and they get the wrong results. So for me, and then our society has not helped matters. Why do I say this? It is true. What your friend did by taking a loan to create a beautiful office space, get a nice car so that it can be responded to, it's not his fault, it's the community. You see, community we live in, if people see you in a very big car, they will respect you. If you're driving on the highway with a very nice car, the police might not even stop you. But if they see an ordinary car, a struggling guy who is adding value to the nation, they would harass him endlessly. So I can understand what that guy is trying to do, but if he does not have the right content, if he is not solution driven, if he does not bring value alongside with what he has done, he has shot himself in the leg. Because if you go and borrow money to look good, feel good because you want people to see you in a different light, and then you go for that meeting and you have no content, you have no solution to provide for them, you're going to be in an endless cycle of debt. And you have to close up the business, and the people will be chasing you about, you're owing me money for the chair you bought, you're owing me money for... So I think people follow value. There are a few people I've seen online, and you can tell when there is value. You can tell when they started from nothing. And maybe when they knew that I just have to create this small space within my space, just so that people can see what I'm selling. And then they grow from there. For the lady who goes on Instagram to say that I'm selling Zobo and it's Zobo money that brought me to Zanzibar, I don't know about that. And she wants to teach people how to make Zobo. I question things like that. I'm not saying she's lying. It might be true, it might not be true, but I don't know. If you want to learn how to make Zobo, go on YouTube. Learning how to sell Zobo is not a cost that in this day and age, that anybody needs to pay for anymore. Go on YouTube. And you, why don't you just have your holiday in peace? And if you want to sell content, if you want to sell courses, I mean, maybe you should build the structure you built. It's like me saying, now come, let me show you how I don't even understand. There are lots of crap on Instagram, there are lots of crap on Facebook. And the funny thing is that people buy this crap because they see an end result that is not real. I mean, tell me who doesn't want to go to Zanzibar on holiday? And I'm not saying it's not possible for you to use Zobo money to go to Zanzibar. It's very possible. In fact, it's very possible for you to build something very big out of Zobo. I gave an example before. I said somebody is selling bags. She's selling 8 containers. And somebody else might be selling bags and be struggling to sell 3 on Instagram. So it depends on how you build the business. It's not about the product. The product has to be good, yes. But it's not really about the product. It's about the system. So if you're telling me, come on, if you're teaching me business structures, business systems that can, that can make a business scale and make millions of naira, why not? So, I mean, not to bash anybody, but I believe that Zobo can be learned on YouTube. I learned how to make meat pie on YouTube. On the field, so basically, because we're into cash crops, the kind of technology that the very first thing we did before we planted our cashew was we did a soil test. So we had people from the laboratory in Ibadan, I'm trying to remember the name of the institute now. Anyways, they came to the farm and they went to several points to pick up soil, to test the pH level of the soil, to test the nutrients of the soil, to be sure that cashew can actually survive in that soil. So we also did it for cocoa because I was more interested in cocoa than, I've already seen cashew, I've seen it grow because I was very interested in cocoa, so I did it for cocoa. So if I did not do that test and I had gone ahead to plant cocoa, I would have been biting my fingers by now because it would have produced any results. The soil was absolutely not good for cocoa, so we couldn't plant cocoa. So we had to go ahead and plant cashew. It's very sad. It's saddening, and I can relate because I get people calling me, telling me, Olamide, please just leave agriculture. Don't do it because of the insecurities. As a matter of fact, I'm doing my PhD and my research topic is on security. Security and non-security measures. Traditional and non-traditional measures of security in Nigeria. But you see, we cannot completely eradicate an industry because of the challenges it faces. It's very sad. And of course, it's our lives first. If there is no life to produce the business, how then would it survive? So if that kind of insecurity gets to my side of farming, because our place is relatively safe, we have never experienced such in our area, and by the grace of God, we will not experience it. In fact, I don't even see it happening because my business is a kingdom business, so I don't see it happening. But in the nation, I think what the president, the Minister for Agriculture, the leaders need to do is to call in the stakeholders that are involved and listen to them. Because sometimes we create policies, the government might come out and create policies that they think is suited for the people in a particular industry, and it just might not be suited for them. So I'm waiting for a time when they will say, okay, the major stakeholders in this industry, can you please come together? Let us talk about this problem and let us talk about how we can solve this problem. Not just talking about it, but how it can be solved. I mean, Oyo State tried with the Amotekun, and I think the Amotekun has really helped. And there's some places where you go to in Oyo State where there are agro rangers too. So whatever is working can also be scaled. How did you do it in these states? Can it be replicated in other states? And there's some places where they're just using vigilantes, where there's community policing that is being used. So we want to replicate what is already working. But how does the government know what is working if they don't bring in stakeholders into the room to say, okay, how do we safeguard you guys? Sometimes they might think they know how to safeguard us, but it's government of the people, for the people, and by the people. So I think bringing everyone into the same room, talking about it, is the best solution.